Okay, today we're going to talk about street fights. Okay, how does a street fight happen? Well, there could be a lot of ways that street fights happen. Okay, maybe you could be at the club, with some of your friends, maybe out in a parking lot, you know, maybe walking down the streets, you bump into somebody, they have a problem with you. Usually that kind of situation, you might be able to talk your way out of, okay? Because the whole point is to avoid a street fight if you can. If at all possible, you want to avoid the fight, okay? But in situations where you can't avoid the fight, well then, that's when you gotta know how to defend yourself, okay? So basically, let's say you're sitting at the club, you're with some of your buddies. Guy over there thinks you have a staring problem. Maybe he's had too many beers, Thinks you have a staring problem. Walks over to you, tells you, hey, what's up, I think you're staring at me wrong. Well, let's pause right there. What you say sometimes can either be the fight or get you out of the fight. If you say, hey man, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I wasn't really looking at you, maybe I was looking in that direction, but I was staring at something else. He may take that, he could take that in the wrong way or the right way. Maybe he might take it in the right way and say, okay, alright, I thought you were looking at me, and just walk off, okay? Yeah, people may say, oh, well, you sound like you sound scared. You sounded like a chicken, because he just came over here basically and told you, basically hit you up and told you, he thinks you have a staring problem, and you basically backed out of a fight. Well, you didn't really back out of the fight. You're just getting yourself out of a bad situation. First of all, you don't know how many buddies he has. If you're in a club, you don't know how many buddies he has. Okay, he could have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 buddies waiting to jump you. Okay, you don't know. Second of all, you might have the alcohol bottle, which he can use to smash over your head. Okay, so in a club, then you got all kinds of people around, so your space is going to be restricted. So, you want to get out of that situation if you can. If you can't talk your way out of it and you have to defend yourself, well, then you got to do it, okay? All right, let's go on, a street fight, maybe on the streets, it can happen so many different ways. I can't really cover all the ways that you can get into a street fight on the streets, but let me go into my personal experience, okay? Funny thing is, a lot of street fights don't happen like it happens in the movies, All the street fights that I've recently been in, my recent street fights, my most recent street fights that I've been in, Well, what I will say is, they don't necessarily start out with, the guy getting in your face, talking trash, and then all of a sudden the fight just breaks out, okay? Sometimes it could be a situation where, a guy may be coming at you with a weapon. Well, how do you defend yourself? What do? You have to know what to do. You have to be simple and direct, okay? You have to have economy of motion, okay? Use your longest weapon to the nearest target, okay? You gotta have speed, agility, okay? You gotta have some power. Okay, you gotta have a combination of different things. You gotta be able to adapt like water. Okay, so there's all kinds of ways that a street fight could happen, basically. So we're gonna get into the next thing: simple and direct techniques. Okay, you get in a street fight, right? Let's say a guy's coming at you. He's gonna throw a wild haymaker, maybe a hook or a haymaker, whatever. Okay, if a guy's gonna throw a hook or a haymaker, you have your center line right here, okay? You can just shoot the straight lead, because the straight lead punch is actually the bread and butter in JKD, okay? You have your center line, okay, right here. You don't want to be bouncing around like this, a lot of boxers like to do that. That's fine and everything, but we're just talking about street fighting right now, okay? So you just want to kind of be stationary, okay? Because what that does is, when you launch your straight lead punch, you don't want your opponent to know it's coming, okay? You don't want no kind of telegraphs at all. So basically, you're going to launch your straight lead punch. your opponent goes to throw maybe a hook, haymaker, whatever, you know, you want to launch that straight lead punch. And always move before the foot, okay? So you want to launch that straight edge punch, you know, you want to launch that straight lead, you just want to hit, okay? Your opponent comes in, you just want to hit, bring it back, okay? He comes in, you want to hit, relax. Don't tense up like this, then throw your punch, and then back. It makes your punch so slow. But when you're just right here, and you're slowed into the punch, you'll never know what's coming. First you're just calm, maybe your hands are down at your side, you know, maybe your hands are down at your side, and he comes in for a hit. Well, then if he comes in a hit, you bang, and explode, and come right back in your stance. Always ready for another one if you have to double it up or whatever. So the straight lead is very quick. Also can be powerful if you put your hips into it too. So yeah, that's on the straight lead. Now another simple and direct technique that I like a lot is the eye jab, finger jab to the eye. Because a finger jab to the eye, I don't care what anyone says, my opinion is a finger jab to the eye is more effective than a punch. Let me tell you why. If you punch a guy in the face, okay, yes, it can be effective, yes, it can hurt, yes, it can sting. It could even bust his nose, break his jaw, so forth and so forth. But if you watch a lot of fights, or if you've seen a